I think Vivian has one of the best design in the entire game. There are just so many details on her dresses for you to discover, and I think it's very elegant. And in terms of her personalities, I really like the way she interacts with our main protagonist, and everything just makes her so adorable. So I think that she's the cutest and the most beautiful characters in Zenless Zone Zero. But I know that there are people out there disagree with me, like Vivian herself. She said I'm the cutest and the most beautiful person she have ever met in her entire life. I am the embodiment of elegant, the definition of the word perfection, and the word cute and kawaii isn't enough to describe my cuteness. She kept staring at me and I asked her why would she do that. She said she could do it until the end of eternity, and she made a whole album with all the song about me. She didn't even know what I looked like back then. I hope that she don't find out that I'm a grown-ass man role-playing a girl in the video game.
パエトーン様からお誘いくださるなんて感激です。
パエトーンよパエトーンなのです。新エリデを牛耳るもの。パエトーンよパエトーンなのです。ホロレイダフォースカパエトーン様パエトーンさん風になびく赤いスカーフ
Attention! Membership is now available! Cause I'm gonna be streaming more. We got some gameplay, deadly assault analysis, we got account review. So I did my first account review on the other day just because chat started discussing each other's gear and asked me should I do an account review, and we got a pretty good time and good vibe here. And this lucky guy who got his account review got signature from me pulling for him. Holy shit! Holy shit! Like man, I'm even got jealous of that. So if you join membership now, I will put your name at the start of the video on pretty much every single video that I'm gonna make until your name disappeared from the subscription, which is more valuable than me sending my bath water to you. It's not a lot, but that's what I could do as a small content creator. I can't even upload my emoji even they are ready. The system requires 45 membership for me to upload the emoji, or you could join it if you simply feels like supporting. I'm very appreciated. Anyway, let's get into the video. I'm actually pretty satisfied with the current state of the Zenless Zone Zero. Vivian was once expected to be a much more better sub-DPS than Bernice, but apparently she doesn't. And she's not entirely Bernice with different elements. You wanna swap to her a little bit more often and more strategically, which is parrying the enemy, cause that would generate her sources of DPS, which is slightly more complicated than Bernice. And putting her with Jane Doe would outperform Jane Doe with Bernice, and I think this is a really healthy thing to have. She's not better than Bernice at Mindscape Zero without the signature, but with signature she's about 10-20% better than Bernice, and this is where Zenless Zone Zero won my respect back. They introduced new characters with different kinds of mechanics that is specialized in different situations, adding unique gameplay rather than slapping more power levels onto a characters. Even the upcoming characters like Hugo, he got really special mechanics that is going to consume the stun window as his DPS, but at the same time, he's not broken. That would actually makes the game more fun. And I do find that respectable as a player, because this actually shows restraint, awareness, and honestly, the respect to the player. Because every time when power creep happens, your time and your financial investment on the existing characters would be devalued to a certain extent. So every time when power creep happens too rapidly, players are going to feel like they are getting robbed. Like the global passive is going to write off the value of existing characters in Honkai Star Rail in an extent that is totally unacceptable. If you don't know what global passive mean, it means that you're gonna get the buff from just owning the characters without putting the characters on the team. It's basically a buff to the entire account. But I'm not saying that they're saying they're generous. They're doing this is probably because the other side of the office, the Honkai Star Rail, got a lot of lashback on this and they don't want to be part of it. But I'm glad that they at least aware of this and setting themselves to the right direction, even though it means it would definitely tank their short-term revenue, because if the character is not strong, people are going to pull for less. And Yae Miko is pretty much the best examples of that in Genshin. She's probably the hottest characters in the Inazuma. Everybody said she's the best waifu, but the revenue doesn't reflect that way. So they're definitely aware of what they're doing. And I'm glad that they came out with the monetization that is better for their longevity of the game, because more often than not, the longevity business practice are less predatorial in nature, cause you couldn't just think about how to get your player back tomorrow, but how to keep your player for another year. And less predatorial practice like power creep, long ass daily quests, good quality of life change, and of course, good gameplay and good story would make this long-term relationship with the player base happen. I even made videos on how to handle the power creep. You simply just want to skip more because the future characters are bound to be the strongest. So you kind of want to aim for your favorite characters and then you build a team around that characters. And the other business practice that I find it predatorial is that instead of selling one characters, they're trying to sell you the whole package of a team. And I think they push that boundaries in the Trigger Anbi team, where you kind of need both of their signature weapon and both of the characters themselves for them to work decently. So I made another videos regarding to that. When you want to skip, you skip an entire team. When you want to pull for an entire team just to deal with their business practice. But player ain't idiot either. They're not gonna fall for the same tricks again and again unless they got neuron activated by Jando's butt and Trigger's butt. They already learned the pattern from Genshin. You kind of wanna prioritize the support and skip more DPS. Even if they never play Genshin, this general principle would spread in the community. Like in the CN side of content creator space, there's even this whole genre just to dissect what this banner is trying to do. Like how they gonna design the Deadly Assault and the Spiral Abyss that would highly favorable to the current banner and somehow makes them less powerful on the next banner in a rather sarcastic and casual way. I was actually concerned about the patch 2.0 because of this character's Yixuan, and my main concern was her class. It's a brand new class, Rupture. Not only that, there's no free-to-play Wenjin or better secondary option. Her class wouldn't be able to fit in any existing team in theory because there are no characters with the additional ability to pair with the new class. They are putting her in the position that she could only pair with the upcoming characters if you want an S-rank alternative. But based off what I could gather, it seems like her team is gonna be more flexible than I expected. And if that's the case, it's gonna write off all the concern that I have in this video. And I think she's gonna be moderately free to play for most of the player, where she could operate by her own. Like Miyabi, because of her power levels. It's like Yanagi is the best pair for Miyabi, but you would separate them on different teams because Miyabi is perfectly fine by herself with other suboptimal teammates. And I would expect that on Yixuan, which Ju Fufu is probably her best pair, but practically people wouldn't put them together. But what I think actually happens is that they came out with the announcement of the characters first, then they kind of gathered the opinion and reaction to the class. And I believe that they're also doing this with the beta. If there are like huge lashback, they might want to adjust it in the direction that would satisfy the player. Even though this sounds kind of clever, but I think this is beneficial for both player base and the company. So they wouldn't have a complete flop on the characters and we wouldn't get the characters that we don't want. I think the signature weapon is actually perfectly fine because you don't really have a must-pull teammates on top of that, and it only needs about 63 pulls averagely. And I think overall this is a good thing. And if you don't want to pull for her signature, we could also get her Wenjin from the battle pass, but that is also a strategy to incentivize for you to make the purchase. Anyway, my message is still pretty simple. You want to enjoy the game and not let the FOMO element of the game take over you and your credit card. And yeah, see ya guys.